Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm reviewing the world's fullest foundation ever, or at least that's what people are calling it here on YouTube. So people are saying that the Marc Jacobs Remarkable foundation and the Dermacol foundation are the two world's most full coverage foundations. They're saying the Dermacol one is a do for it, but I did not get the Dermacol one. I have the Marc Jacobs one to try today, and I put it on my face, and you'll have to keep watching to see what I think. Okay guys, so before I go on with foundation, I'm going to prime. I'm going to be using the Too Faced Hangover RX primer. I've never tried it. It's like a white consistency. It smells like coconuts. It smells really good. So with this foundation, I've heard that it's matte. I'm gonna read up on the claims so I know what to expect. I have heard that this is a matte foundation, and even though it's summer and it's kind of warmer out, my skin hasn't been as oily. Well, my nose is always oily, but like my face hasn't been that oily. So I just want to really hydrate my face before I go in with that foundation. Okay, so I let that sink in. Now I'm just going to go in with this Smashbox Photo Finish, the Pore Minimizing Primer, because my nose, no matter what, is going to get oily, and this minimizes that a little, and it fills in pores, and I definitely got pores on my nose. Okay, just a little side note, I usually layer primers, but with this one, I would recommend just doing it by itself. So I put the Hangover on my nose a little bit before, and when I put this over, it started balling up a little bit, and it's definitely due to this primer. So just if you're using this, just don't layer over another primer unless you find one that it works with. So lastly, to prime, I always like to go in with the setting spray, and I usually go in with the Smashbox one, but today I'm going to be using the Too Faced Hangover. This is brand new, and I've never tried it before, so I'm excited to try. I've heard good things. So it says this has coconut water, probiotic based ingredients, and skin revivers. I have no clue what that is, but it smells so good. Feels really good. I'm never really one to care about the smell of things that much. I just care if it works. Okay, so now my face is very glowy, dewy. I like it to be not wet, but like I like it to be very hydrated before my foundation, because sometimes foundation can like... And this one is supposed to be really matte, so I'm coming prepared. Okay, so before I go on with the foundation, let's read the claim. So I'm gonna go on Sephora. This is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Coverage Foundation. It says, this is an innovative foundation that delivers instant full coverage in a single dot for less foundation for more coverage that lasts up to 24 hours. Give skin flawless full coverage in an instant with this foundation concentrate. Revolutionary formula offers twice as much pigment as a leading full coverage foundation, but in an oil-free base that blends instantly across the complexion to completely cover pores, blemishes, and other imperfections with the thinnest possible layer that lasts up to 24 hours. All foundations are composed of two parts, pigment and ingredients to carry the pigment to the skin. Remarkable innovates by filling its formula with as much pigment as possible, leaving little room for non-essential ingredients, including water. Not only does it contain twice as much pigment as standard full coverage foundations, but these pigments are made of patented golden mica to give the complexion a more radiant, natural looking glow. That's not what I've really heard so far, but we'll see. The pigments are wrapped in lecithin, an ingredient with a texture that feels similar to skin, to blend effortlessly and melt with the complexion for a smooth, soft matte finish. Okay. Let's put this on. I always go in with my e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation to cover up. I like to spot conceal my acne, and I am kind of breaking out right now, but this is supposed to be super full coverage, so I really shouldn't have to do that. The only thing I'm a little concerned about, this shade looks a little too orange, a little yellowy, but I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna make it work. Okay, it's not super thick or anything. I'm just gonna dot it all over. Okay, so it's all on now. I'm just gonna blend it out really quick because I don't want it to set. Let's see how full coverage this is. Okay guys, so I just blended that to filth, and this is definitely full coverage. This is the most full coverage foundation I've ever tried, without a doubt. The shade is definitely not perfect. The weird thing is that I thought this was going to be too dark, but it actually looks like my neck might be like slightly darker. But like that could just be because foundation always just washes you out, and this is super full coverage, so it's going to look a little weird at first. I definitely so far wouldn't say that this is for people with dry skin, because my skin was practically wet. Like this is actually giving like dewy finish, but it really sucked up all of that glow that I had before. But I am thinking if I didn't go in with all that moisture before that, my skin would probably look pretty bad. The other thing is if you look at my eyebrows and stuff, it completely almost whited them out. My hair, it got in my hair a little bit, so this is kind of a messy foundation, but I mean, I can get rid of that quickly. So far, first impressions, it looks pretty good. It's a little, the color's off. I'm gonna put it on my neck and ears. It has a slight dew to it. I am interested to see how this is gonna look when I set it with some powder. And I'm just gonna finish the rest of my face and I'll come back in a few seconds. Okay, hold on a second. So before I finish my full face, I just wanted to come in and say that I just blended it out onto my neck and ears, and I was using my brush like I always do, and it felt a little stiff to blend out. It was a little difficult. I really had to drag the foundation, and I really didn't like that. It was a little hard to blend with the brush. The Beauty Blender was a lot easier, probably because it's a little wet, a little moist, and it really helped blend out on my face. So far with this foundation, I wouldn't recommend with a brush. I would recommend it with a Beauty Blender, but I'm always a Beauty Blender fan. But I did find that a little weird that it was hard to blend out on my neck, because I never really have a problem with that either. So that was just a quick thing I just wanted to add, and now I'm going to finish my full face. Okay guys, so I finished up my makeup and it looks a lot better now that I added in all my bronzer, concealer, everything else. Looking in the mirror, I think it looks pretty good. Like my texture is barely there. Pretty much, it covered up all redness. No acne is showing through. The color is pretty good. Like at first I thought it was going to be too dark, then it ended up looking a little too light. It didn't oxidize. I did do a flash test. I'll insert it now. There was no flashback at all. There's no SPF in this foundation. It's not cakey like I thought it was going to be. It's not super matte. It's not clinging onto dry patches. It's not super dewy either. I did set my face with powder though. I'm going to vlog throughout the day and keep checking in at different hour intervals and let you know how it looks. So I'm going to film a couple more videos and we'll see how it goes. Hey guys, so it's been about 4 hours since I put on the foundation and now I'm just doing a little check. It looks really good. My nose isn't super oily. Up close, it's not very textured.
Okay, what the fuck? I just look like a little head in the back.
I'm looking at it really close up, and like my chin and stuff, I have a lot of like acne, and my forehead too. Everything looks pretty good. Like, I would think that because it's supposed to be like super full coverage that it would be kind of cakey, but I didn't find that it was cakey. What do you think, Dominique?
From like a different standpoint, like somebody else seeing it, I think it looks like really good. Like you don't see any imperfections, like from far away especially. And it was just like clear and like smooth.
Interesting.
Yes.
So I'm going to keep wearing it for a couple more hours. I'll keep checking in with you guys, but so far it looks good to me. Okay, so I've been wearing the foundation for about 7 hours now, and it still looks pretty good. I'm a little oily in the T-zone, a little oily on the nose, but really it's nothing too bad. I am getting tired, so I'm just going to, I think this is going to be my last check, and then I'll just give you my final thoughts at the end. Okay guys, so I'm gonna end this video. It's currently almost 11 o'clock. I'm tired, so I want to take my makeup off now, but let me give you my final thoughts on this foundation. The 24-hour claim, I'm obviously not testing it for 24 hours and no one should sleep in their makeup anyway, but it lasted pretty good. Like, everything is still pretty much intact. The only thing is my forehead over here and my nose is a little oily. My chin, not even really, just maybe like a slight amount, but barely any, and I'm fine with that. I didn't use like a mattifying primer or anything, which I didn't want to do because I knew it wouldn't look as good with a matte foundation, but it lasted pretty well. I have been wearing it for about, I think, like 8 hours now, and I don't really wear my foundation for more than 8 hours unless it's like a certain circumstance. Like, the only times I can think of when I wore my makeup longer was like if I had like a 12-hour day where it was like a Friday where I went to school, so I had it on from early in the morning, then I stayed out all night long, and it just went really long. But other than that, this is pretty much fine, and literally this isn't even bad. Like, sure, it's a little oily in the T-zone for me, but that can easily be corrected with like blotting paper. So if you have blotting paper, you can just blot away the oil. And now we're gonna see how much oil is actually on. I mean, that is all oil. I don't even have super oily skin. If you did have oily skin, I would just say don't go in with that primer that I used. And like I did a lot of hydrating stuff before. You definitely wouldn't need to do that. You would just slap this foundation over whatever, and it would definitely, it's not gonna be something that makes you more oily or anything. I think that this is a good foundation to control your oil, and it will keep you pretty matte throughout the day. I mean, I've had this on for a long time and I was sweating I am in my room and it's so hot in here and I can't turn on the fan or AC because it's going to make noise like in the last video for a little bit. So I was literally sweating as I was putting it on. I've been sweating all day long. So I really don't mind it that it was like a little bit wet. I mean, it looks worse than it is like on the actual piece of paper, but honestly, it's really not bad. Like, now that I blot it, it looks perfectly fine. And what I usually do after I blot is maybe take some powder a little bit, and then I just take some setting spray or a little mist over, and it looks brand new. Like, and beauty blend a little bit over like some kicky areas. Like, I was also looking at my smile lines because that's where it usually creases in, and the only time that it went into my smile lines was before I had set my face with powder. So if you don't set your face with powder, you might have a problem with it sinking into your fine lines, like smile lines and stuff like that, which I always have a problem with. But surprisingly, I don't really see anything, and everything looks pretty damn good. So Marc Jacobs, you're doing something right. I love this foundation. I think I'm gonna definitely try it a little bit more. This is just the first impressions. I would definitely have to use it a bunch of times before I can fully give it a great review. But one thing that I will do in the description box is write a little update if it broke me out, because I have sensitive acne prone skin. So I always want to do for foundations, because I am going to be doing some more foundation reviews in the future because I really like foundation. I want to try a lot of different ones this summer, and I will always write in the description box if it broke me out, because I think that's important to know. Everyone's skin is different, so something that breaks me out might not break you out, and vice versa, but I think it's interesting to know if it did or not. So I will definitely let you know if this foundation broke me out in the description box down below, but I honestly don't think it will because I don't feel anything new coming through. It didn't feel really heavy throughout the day. That's another thing I didn't mention. I'm pretty happy with all the claims. Like, it said it was full coverage. It definitely was. It lasted pretty long. I don't know if 24 hours, but I don't know what foundation would last for 24 hours. Had a nice satin finish when I first put it on, maybe demi matte. It wasn't like a really cakey matte. I know every foundation that is matte says that it's not going to be like that, but then they end up being like that, even though they say it's, they use different words, like it's going to be a demi matte or whatever. But this was a legitimately demi matte finish, and I think it's really nice. It's good for summer because of the finish. You might not like it because it's so full coverage, but another thing you can do that I've heard a lot of people do is that they just put like a dot or two into another foundation, like a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer, or just a foundation that doesn't have that much coverage to it, and it's gonna give it a more like higher coverage. It could make it into like a medium coverage. So if that's what you're into, I would definitely recommend doing that. Maybe I'll try that in the future. But anyway, I think that's all I have to say about this foundation. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to try it out some more. And if you like this video, give it 2 thumbs up. Comment down below what you would like me to try next if you have any ideas. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I think I literally have 30 subscribers, so if I could get that up more, that would be wonderful. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!